trying to rise to is a quick meeting.
I know, I hear you, I gotta get home too.
I know.
Okay. Does that mean we're good?
We're good.
Yep. Okay. So, welcome to the Select Board meeting this evening, Thursday, September 12th, 7 PM. We don't have too big of an agenda tonight, but we're going to get right into it. So, we have announcements. Do we have announcements?
I don't believe we have any announcements.
Why do we have announcements on the
Because we
agenda?
put them on every agenda. It's a basic,
Okay,
It's
no
item number
announcements.
2.
Can I make an
You
announcement?
sure can.
I'll make two, actually.
2?
Yes. There's going to be a back-to-school fun run on Sunday, September 29th, and it's sponsored by the Millis Boosters. And I'm going to try to run in it. And it should be a good time.
And I'm going to run in it, and I think
Ellen will
Karen's
be.
going to run in it.
All right.
I
Craig-
won't be.
Craig will not be running
I
in
will
it.
not be running in it.
So
Okay, that's one announcement.
the other announcement, I just wanted to give a shout out to all of the election workers and the town clerk's office. The dream team of Kathy and Sue have been really pulling up and doing a great job. And, you know, it was without the usual town clerk, they pulled off the election, and all the election workers did a great job. And it was just, well done and new. So I wanted to give them a shout out and say they did a great job.
Yep. Can we have a second on that?
We're not voting it.
I know, but.
I'll
I'm just
second
being
that.
Funny. Yeah, I agree with you. They did a great job for first time. So that was good. I also want to make an announcement. This is our second meeting live streamed, right?
yes.
That works, that actually
It appears to be
works.
working.
And it
It
looks.
clear. It looks a lot clearer than last time.
Does it look clearer? Hold on.
It does to me.
It does look clearer. But I want to say a couple of things about this, because I watched the last one, remote. I re-watched it. And the way it is I'm in it practically every minute, which I personally hate. But I found out that I think it's because I must be mumbling or moving or whatever, because that's true. It's
The camera
motion.
gravitates towards the sound.
Right, so if you notice on the last meeting, when Karen got up to shut the door, the camera actually picks her up and follows her to the door. So we get that that's the way it is, but that's the way it is. There's no fixing that. I thought we could just somehow fix it, but that's the way it is.
That's the way the owls work.
Right,
Owl.
so in exchange for being able to live stream, which is incredible, there are some small annoyances, but they're going to be very small. So that's that. So let's get to the appointments. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Madam
go ahead.
Chair, in your packet, you'll see a memo from the interim town clerk requesting that the board appoint 3 election workers, Rosa Connolly, Stephen Smith, and Madeline Good. And so I'm asking that the board ratify my appointment of those 3 individuals as election workers for the town.
I move to ratify the appointment of Rosa Connolly, Stephen Smith, and Madeline Good as election workers.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Great, thank you.
Okay, now we have another appointment.
Yes, Madam Chair. Again, in your packet is an email from the chair of the Capital Planning Committee, Jonathan Berry, to the Select Board. I would like to request that you appoint Wayne Clocko to fill the current vacant at-large position on the Capital Planning Committee. Wayne has been involved with several other town committees in the past, and we believe he will be a great addition to the CPC. Please let me know if there are any other steps I need to take to facilitate his appointment. And we have confirmed with Mr. Clocko that he is interested in serving in that position.
That's good.
Okay, so before we do make this motion, I just want to say that Wayne was a longtime member of the Permanent Building Committee and did a terrific job. So the segue to the capital planning committee. I have no doubt he will do a terrific job. So we have a motion?
We don't, but I'll make one. I
We
move,
need a motion?
yes.
Okay.
I
Checked
move
off
that
the
we
second
appoint
item.
Wayne Klockow to fill the currently vacant at-large position on the capital planning committee.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, congratulations, Wayne, and congratulations to the election workers. Okay, now we need to open the fall annual town meeting.
Madam
Warrant.
Chair,
Go.
The board recently set the date of the fall annual town meeting for Tuesday, November 19th in the middle high school. We have since reserved the auditorium and gymnasium at the middle high school on the state for that evening. And I am recommending that the board formally vote to open the warrant for the fall annual town meeting at your meeting this evening. And also vote that the warrant will close on Monday, September 30th.
Okay,
I move to open the 11/19/2024 fall annual town meeting warrant, and that the warrant will close on September 30th, 2024.
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor to open the warrant?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Right, thank you. And just a short follow-up to that, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I will be recommending to the board at your meeting on September 30th to open the warrant for a special town meeting to be held that evening, immediately preceding the fall annual town meeting, with the purpose of that special to be solely to insert an article for appropriations related to the Prop 2.5 override question, which is included in the ballot of the biannual state election, which is scheduled for November 5th. And the reason for this is after reviewing this issue with town council, because of some quirks in the state law, he felt more comfortable with the appropriations article being done at a special town meeting than a fall annual town meeting. I will note the one caveat to that is just to remind everyone that the special town meeting has a quorum requirement, which I believe at last count looked like it will require about 260 voters to come to the meeting in order to act on that. So we can talk about that more, at your upcoming meetings, but certainly, and this article is dependent on passage of the override at the
That's
November
right.
5th election. So
Right.
so we'll know as of November 6th, the relative importance of this town meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Did you, Mike, did anybody ever hear back from Rick Terrara?
I am not,
There's a large blank on the
Sure.
motion sheet.
What?
Outside
large
of the
blank.
emails in the packet?
Yeah, we have the emails.
you have the email. So the
I
board
know
can
that I
certainly.
personally told him.
Okay,
I personally sent him an email, and Karen sent him an email,
yes, so
but I don't know if anybody,
I did not speak with him, and I was not made aware that
Okay.
he called the office, so.
okay, well, just to let anybody know, he was going to come today and make a request to display artifacts at the, artifacts, so he's a Millis Lions Club person, and they want to recognize the Lions Club and everything they have contributed to the town of Millis over the last very many years. And he requested to display some of the Millis Lions artifacts in room number
206.
206. So he's just going to make a little presentation, and we went into room 206, and there's some cabinets, original cabinets in there that are gorgeous, that are glass, that would look nice with something in them. But apparently he's not here, so we should just push it to the next
Yeah,
meeting.
you could,
Yeah.
it's just a couple weeks
Okay.
away.
All right. Next is, you're here. Thank you for coming. You're, well, you tell us why you're here.
That's why you're on camera all the time.
John Stedman is here to talk about some signage.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of the Conservation Commission. As you know, we commissioned a study of several parcels of town-owned land about a year and a half ago. Pardon me. One of the recommendations was to increase the visibility of properties by adding signs. And there are 7 properties that we recommend signs be installed. 3 of those properties in the deed say they are managed by the Conservation Commission. The other 4 are silent. Several of those were deeded to the town before anybody ever thought of a Conservation Commission, date back to the 20s. So I had 2 objectives tonight. One was to inform you what we would like to do, and second was to get any suggestions or input. I mean, we're a volunteer board. I'm not a graphic artist, and yeah, I had the name of one sign company. I don't know if there's a preferred vendor to work with on all this stuff, but we want to go to the CPC to get funding for this, so it will not affect the town budget. We think it's a reasonable request, and we ask for your support and your input.
Well, my first question is, doesn't the CPC typically want half to come from the requester?
They've requested that at times.
Yeah.
Whether or not they've requested on this smaller
It
item.
depends on the items.
Yeah.
It's on the
Yeah.
item. This is a smaller item, and it's
Right.
right up the alley of the CPC.
Is it 100%?
So,
Because you have no other funding.
We have, we get $4,700 in change every year, and that's been unchanged for years and years to cover our expenses. Plus, there's the, our portion of the salary for Camille Stanley, who does a phenomenal job,
Right.
without whom we would be dysfunctional. So the properties in question are the Village Street walking paths. There is a sign there, but it's been damaged, needs to be replaced. The intersection of Acorn and Spencer Streets, that's highly visible. It is conservation land, it cannot be developed. The intersection of Farm and Acorn the same way. They're both gateways to the city that are the town in a lot of subdivisions. There may be some, a little tiny bit of clearing that, of brush that the DPW has to do, but that's minor. The Dewey property, which is on the corner of 115 Orchard Street and Exchange Street, right next to the Cassidy Farm. It's surrounded by a rock wall and really not accessible, but it is something that the town spent a lot of money on, and we should make people aware of it. Richardson's Pond, and that was just, the Boy Scouts just did a nice cleanup project there. That's a real asset to the town, but there's really nothing to designate it as Richardson Pond. Pleasant Street Park is the triangle at Village, Pleasant Street, and Dyer. It was deeded in the 20s to the town as a park. It is just forest now and overgrown. It's most known for the cutout of Sasquatch that is
Yeah.
off Pleasant Street. But a sign there at the intersection of Village and Pleasant would just give it some more visibility. And the last one is Waits Mill, which is the Rockland Fire Station. I've talked to the chief. He's in support of a better sign there. The one that's there is really an embarrassment. It's not visible at all. And we're proposing they be very much like the sign that you see the picture of that is at Bogastow Meadow now. They'd be very similar to that. They'd be 2 feet by 3 feet, cut into the plastic with the seal. And all of them would have just PVC covered posts, because granite posts, A, are more expensive, and in some of these places, you'd probably have to get a police detail to block traffic while the crane was in there and they're putting in the granite posts. So for those 2 reasons, we're saying other than Richardson Pond, we recommend they all be with PVC posts. The prices that we have here are based on a quote from a sign company in Franklin, and they include installation.
Oh, I didn't even see you had prices.
Any comments or questions? We'll ask the CPC for $15,000.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
So would they all say Millis Conservation Commission across the top?
no,
No.
no. The ones that we do not have jurisdiction
Right,
of
will not.
would say the town of Millis.
Okay.
Conservation land, I put in here what they would all say, but.
Yeah, I saw it
yeah.
underneath. I just wasn't sure on the whole top part.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so like the walking paths and Spencer and Acorn, Spencer and Acorn would say Town of Millis Conservation Land.
Okay.
And so any that we do not own would say that. Richardson Pond or we don't own them, the town owns them, but we have legally responsibility for them. Richardson Pond would say Town of Millis, Richardson's Pond.
Okay.
And Waits Mill would say Town of Millis, Waits Mill.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
think
replace that ugly sign that's there.
I think it looks good. I mean, we obviously have no jurisdiction over what the CPC does. That's right, right? Yeah. No, the name of the organization.
But-
Too many
Yep.
CPCs.
Too many.
But, yeah, we have no jurisdiction over it, but I mean, it looks good. I like the idea. I think it's going to add a lot of
Thank you. But,
character and
yeah,
quality.
we didn't feel that we should be doing something on property that we don't have jurisdiction of without your knowledge and support.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So, I understand like Richardson's Pond, I don't really understand the Dewey property, because, I mean, I guess you want to say this is the Dewey property, and Dyer Street, like you said, one's a field and one's a forest. I don't know, so somebody you're not gonna go on the Dewey property, you're gonna hop over the stone wall. The grass is usually this high, although they do cut it once.
Right?
I just don't, what am I missing? Just to say that the town owns these 7 properties?
Yeah, just to give
Okay.
them visibility.
Identify 'em, yeah.
I mean, we,
Okay.
I think the visibility adds something to the town.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I think the ones that are trails, I think it adds more.
Obviously.
But the ones that aren't trails, it is nice to see we're protecting this open space and what it is,
I
instead
mean,
of
we
just an
don't,
empty
we
field.
don't have a sign for Cassidy. Why didn't you have
we
that?
have a sign, well, that's Bogastow Meadow. The half of it that is under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
We just put a sign up on the street that says Bogastow Meadow, and then when you drive in, there is a sign there and also some
On what
rules.
street? Island Road?
No, it's on Exchange Street.
It's
It's
on-
right next to Nate's house. There's an
Oh my God,
access,
I drive by there 4,000 times a day. I have not
Yeah.
seen, when did it go up?
about 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago, it's a
There you
blue
go.
sign.
Maybe you better get,
Uh,
maybe you should be neon.
Street pole with a sign like this,
Yep,
like blue.
it's blue reflective sign.
Okay.
Oh, like the one on Pleasant Street?
Exactly. It's the same as that. We also, and it's double-sided, we also, with the help of DPW that was gracious to provide the posts and install them, there's one now at Village Street walking paths.
Okay.
And we put two on Grove Street, on that 11.3 acres that people have been using as a dump. They just say conservation land. We
No
will,
dumping?
we will add a no dumping sign.
Thank you.
Dave thought he had one, but he didn't. So we will have them add 2 no dumping
Okay.
signs there.
Perfect.
Okay. Where's what? Grove?
Yeah, why
Where's
aren't I
Grove
thinking of
Street?
that?
Where's Grove Street?
Grove Street runs between Orchard Street and Causeway. It's the diagonal street, really right across from Glen Ellen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right,
Yep.
right, that cuts up?
Cuts up.
Yep.
Across from Turk.
Oh, yeah.
We own 11.33 acres there. It's beautiful woodland, a lot of wildlife back there.
Okay, and then, so my final question is.
Sure.
Do you know on each of these properties where you're gonna put these signs?
Yes.
Exactly? You already know?
Yes.
I'd like to see, do you have a plan?
Not with me.
Yeah, but,
Yes.
I can-
We need a copy
I'd
of
like
I
that.
to
can mark
see-
up the plot plans
yeah,
and
that
show
would
you.
be more important than the sign, honestly. Okay, do we have like a,
No formal action is required this evening. I mean, if you're, generally supportive of this,
Yep.
then you would be approving an article, at your next meeting,
Through the
to-
CPC.
To
If
put
the
an article
CPC
to
funds
request
it, yeah.
funding through the CPC at the town meeting.
Right.
Because even though the CPC has to support it, it needs final approval of
Okay.
the town meeting.
Yeah.
Are you on
Yes.
their next agenda?
Their next meeting is the 26th of September.
Yes.
And I'm on the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Okay. So do we
A
need
letter
to
of
do,
support would be-
I'm sorry, what?
A letter of support.
Oh,
You could vote,
Would be
put
helpful.
together a letter of support for the signage, so you could just
Okay.
vote to
I'll-
Put
make a
together-
motion to send a letter of, authorize the chair to send a letter of support to the CPC
Okay.
for the sign.
All right,
I move that we authorize the chair to send a letter of support to the CPC for the signage.
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
What
Thank
you
you.
have in your packet is the application that tomorrow will go to the CPC.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have, next item, we have the sewer capacity update that we said we were gonna do.
I'm excited about it.
I am beyond excited. Take us through it, Jim.
Wait a minute. So, in your packet, I think you have 2 pages that outline the capacity. We use the same format that the board came up with when it was sent to the Enterprise Committee, and I worked with Ellen over this in the last couple of weeks, and we've come up with these numbers. As you can see, highlighted in red, Acorn Place and the Regency at Glen Ellen, we've totally taken them out. They're at full
Online.
capacity. They're all in line. And as you can see, that really didn't change any of the 3-year flow. So let me start with, just quickly, the average daily flow for Millis is $628,000, 628,000. It's a lot more, it costs a lot more than that if we were sending that, 628,000 gallons. The max that we could send to the station is 1,465,000 gallons. So the past 3 years, it's a decrease from the last report that GCG did to 398,091 gallons. And that includes the two large projects.
Yep.
So that left a capacity of 198,509 gallons. The list below is still pending. And the only one that is really, we just put it in, we talked about it and we decided the Stony Brook, we're not sure about that yet, but
No.
it's a conversation that the town administrator, myself, Ellen, we all met with them.
Yep.
So we just decided to put it in there just to be sure. They haven't come and asked for your permission to use that, but just to show you. So that leaves us with, the reserve for betterment properties is 56,980 gallons, and that leaves us an average in the coffers, after everything's taken out, is 36,752 gallons. Now, the only thing that, why do we have so much is because, don't forget now, we've eliminated the right to just tie in because it's in front of your property.
Yep.
You eliminated that at the last vote. And I can tell you that we have seen an increase of people, as septics fail, they're not choosing to go septic, they're using to tie into their betterment, if they have the right to tie into it. Not as much as, we've even seen a better increase from the people that were charged betterments. So, and we'll just update it, the board
In another
reviewed
year.
this, and we'll update it again in another year.
How many, just out of curiosity, assuming 4-bedroom homes, how many does that give? What's the formula?
So it's still the 110 gallons per...
That's the number I couldn't remember.
Yep,
Perfect,
it's
yeah.
110 gallons
Okay.
per bedroom.
Per bedroom.
Yep.
Then I can do the rest of it
Yep.
from there.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and that still gives us a lot. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
and as we can see, all the conversations we always had, and we can prove now when Ellen goes to one of her meetings, she can prove to the district that paper is just paper. What the number on paper is just that number. And we're moving forward.
Yeah.
So
Good.
that's like 330 bedrooms.
We're in good shape.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Is that
Thank
it?
you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
That was,
now we'll talk about money.
Yeah,
Why, what's next?
he's next, stormwater services
Stormwater.
proposal.
Oh, okay.
This
You're
is
up.
this is our annual contract with Kleinfelder for our stormwater management policy and procedures. I think it's on page 9 of 9. It gives you the breakdown of what the actual costs are. The rest of it was just the entire contract that the town administrator and the finance director will sign because I still have to prove that we have these funds in there. And they're all in the budget. This isn't asking for anything out of, from a town meeting vote or anything else like that. These numbers are in the budget. The biggest thing that I can tell you is, if you look, the original, the labor budget was $112,614, and through grants that we applied for, we did receive a grant for $12,900, which will lower that cost to what I would ask for. Approval is $99,714. And that's even far less than what we asked for last year. I think last year was in the $230,000. And even with this high amount, people look at this $99,000, this is just at the worst-case scenario. And I have to ask for it for, a not to exceed, because it's of such a magnitude. Each one of them is over, most of them, well, there's only two less than $10,000, and you have to prove every contract for $10,000. So that's why we ask, we combine it all together, and we ask for a not-to-exceed amount of $99,714.
Okay,
I have a question.
go.
Okay. I know we seem to do all of our work with Kleinfelder. Is it ever prudent to try to get a quote from somebody else for this type of work?
It's funny, we had this exact conversation last Monday when we were bringing it to the board. So we use Kleinfelder in many aspects for our projects, mainly water and this here. Kleinfelder was the one who designed this project and passed got the bylaw passed with us. And it's usually when you, when you make a change in, the directorship, that it would be up to the next person to, if they felt the need to move on. We did talk about, especially after the water projects, the larger water projects are done, that we should put everything back out for an RFP.
Okay.
That'll be
And
basically at the conclusion of the next PFAS plan.
Right.
So once that is completed, I would recommend, and that's wrapped up, that we get ready to go out and test the market, just to make sure that we're, and we do feel we're getting good value for the services, we're getting excellent services, but obviously it's always a good practice to go out and see what the market is.
Okay.
most definitely. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just trying to find some paperwork here. Don't look at me like that. Okay, the next,
Do you want me to make a motion?
sure, make a motion.
I move that the board approve the scope of work for stormwater services from Kleinfelder dated September 3rd, 2024, for tasks 1 through 9, for an amount not to exceed $99,714.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Thanks. Can I give a quick update on paving if you want?
You sure
If not,
can.
just quickly, it's been a little arduous, to say the least. The contractor we have, although he's very good at the work he's been doing, his equipment, he's been working on sidewalks on Plain Street, that the paving machine came out today and broke. So he says, I'll get it done, so we're going to work on that tomorrow. All the milling's been done on the three major roads, the two sections of Village Street, Hammond Lane, Farm Street, and most importantly, the largest is Walnut Street. Is it Walnut? Yeah. There's no castings up there. There's just a couple of Watergate boxes that need to be done. He's telling us that he will have all the castings done and hopefully paving by Monday of not next week, the following week, that he'll be in and out. The thing that I'd like to, and then we will continue on the sidewalks. Dave and I had, told him stop at once, at the entrance to the high school, finish that up, get that paved, and then move on to the next section, instead of having the whole thing torn up for weeks and weeks on end. Line painting, the center line painting, we've had a lot of questions about that. That's going to commence Sunday night. That's when the truck just drives by and they put the center lines down. We did have some not so much good news on Route 109. I asked Erin to assist me with questioning, and the senator, right away, she always responds. We ask one question and she responded right away, and they found out that It seems like now we're pushed on to, last year we were on 24, 25 list of paving, now we're on to 25, 26. But she said she was going to follow up with it, and we'll wait and see. If that's the case, I think next year, we're just going to have the discussion, are we going to have to do some of those sections on our own, that we cannot wait,
Yeah.
another year or another year or two. Dave knows that we will go out and we'll, the superintendent will go out, we'll patch the, we were waiting, getting towards the end, we thought they were going to come in and do it, but we will go out and we'll maintain and fix the larger potholes. There's 2 sections that are, just horrible, just absolutely horrible. And we will address the best we can with them.
And like Jim said, it is a struggle. I mean, the state, to their credit, said they would come forward and help us pave this. But the actual timing and the execution of that is beyond our direct control, so that's the hard part. So what we can do is really just continue to press the state and ask for advocacy from our state legislative delegation, do as much as they can to make this a priority. And unfortunately, in the meantime, we'll have some extra work this winter on potholes and road repair, and people will still have a little bit of a bumpy drive on sections of 109,
Yep.
but we're working on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we do have great support from our legislatures. Again, send them an email, we always get a response, always.
I actually saw them in person the night following.
Okay,
So I
did I?
said,
Yes.
can you please look for my email? And so
Yeah,
they
very
they were
good,
very
thank you, I
receptive.
appreciate that. All right, thanks.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
Yep.
Okay, where are we?
Lansing Millis Building.
Lansing
Right.
Millis.
That's me. Are we on time? Oh, there's no time.
There's no time anymore.
All right. Okay, I want to talk about the train station, otherwise known as the train station. So there've been discussions for the last, 40 years on buttoning up the train station. So I've been talking with is it the CPC or the permanent, which one am I?
Permanent
The
building.
Permanent Building
Building,
Committee,
yeah.
because they have this on their list, and as, I don't know if everybody knows, but we've been waiting. There's been some money, can you just address
Yes,
that?
we've been trying to secure money through the state's bond bill for the last couple of years, unsuccessfully, unfortunately. There's a lot of competition for those amounts, and we have not been successful in getting those. Therefore, we do have to look at some other options in order to properly secure the building. There is a possible opportunity for the Community One-Stop Grant,
Right,
which we can apply for in January, but we may not know for sure whether we get the grant until about next April or May.
right.
So the question is, do we do anything in the interim while we're going through that process to prepare to take care of that building?
Okay, so I have met several subcontractors out there over the last few weeks. The roofer, who is actually the town's roofer, Aqua Barriers, he put in a quote a year ago, but he updated it for me. And then I had a framer. Now, I know everybody says to me, Ellen, you're not in the municipal world, so you don't know how to quote these things, because it has to be prevailing wage, which everybody would know is union wage. And although I am not in that world, I want to explain to people what that means. When you bid a prevailing wage job, it does not mean that you need to find a company that is a union company. That's not the way it works. All it means is that whoever bids the job, which could be anybody, any plumber, any electrician, they have to pay their workers prevailing wage. And many of them are very willing to do that because they're going to charge prevailing wage, so they will pass it on to their employees. So my subcontractors, your subcontractors, anybody can bid this. They can go on the state's website, get the prevailing wage numbers, and bid it appropriately. Then, of course, they have to pay them the prevailing wage and not put the difference in their pocket, which I'm sure they will do. So the bids that I have gotten, so what did I want to do? I wanted to find out if we're talking about $1 million or $100,000 to button the building up. When I say button the building up, I mean a new roof, I mean new siding, I mean new trim. A lot of the windows there have painted wood trim, and that can be cleaned up. That can be sanded and repainted, and because they're original, so you should keep that. But some of them are not, so we're talking about some trim on the other windows, and we're talking about, there's a soffit around it, a big wide, I call it a soffit, an overhang. That will be replaced, and what else? New gutters, and power washing, and a little bit of pointing. There isn't a lot of pointing, actually. The stone is in very good shape. So I got bids for everything, and the bottom line, we can post these, or I can clean them up and post them. We're talking about, for all those things, now, what's the material? Right now, the trim and the soffit and whatever siding there isn't a lot. It's mostly stone, believe it or not. And the stone is in really, really good shape. But whatever there is wood. Now, wood's nice. It'll, if we replace the siding and the soffit in wood, in 10 years, the building would look the same way that it looks now, because that's what wood does. So these bids are vinyl siding. Now, I know people might go, oh my God, vinyl siding. So let me explain. The vinyl siding of today is not your grandfather's vinyl siding. This stuff is slick. It looks exactly, it comes with the texture. It looks like wood. It's less expensive. It lasts forever. So that is what this proposal is, because it lasts forever. And that's kind of what we're looking for. And then the trim underneath would be AZAC, which is a composite. I don't know if you all, that's just the name. And the trim on the windows that are not wood, that are now sort of vinyl-y, whatever's up there, would also be AZAC. Already the building, I mentioned this last time, the building now has asphalt shingles, right? We know that. The windows have been replaced with replacement windows. So putting my opinion is to try to recreate this historical building is not even in the cards, because we have a quote for that. It's $1.5 million.
Oh, I thought it was like 4.
Yeah, no, I think it was one.
I
is
think
it?
the exterior was like 1.5,
Yeah,
and
I'll
the
just
interior
second.
brings it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was the exterior is $1.5 million. And to be fair, it's a fool's errand to spend that kind of money on a building that we just want to preserve and have it look fantastic, which it would look fantastic if it were just power washed, it would look amazing, because the stone is just sooty and dirty. Anyway, all the proposals together with everything I said, we're talking about, but the entire exterior, everything, would be about $215,000, which is what I thought. In my head, I had a figure of 200 grand. So with this information, I'm not saying that we run out, we hire these people and do it, but with this information, we can reach out now, because it's in we can do this, right? We can reach out to others, make sure it's a prevailing wage quote, of course. We're supposed to get 3 of everything. And then we can, I believe at the outset, I've said this, I'm going to say it again, $250,000 to account for whatever else they find, which there isn't going to be anything, because you can see everything, would button this building up. And as I've said before, the interior is not terrible. A paint job, some spackle, and you can start showing this to a prospective tenant, and then depending on a tenant, then you see what else you need to do. So, that's my speech. So what I would like to do, now I know I've spoken to the Permanent Building Committee, and like Mike mentioned, they would like to go for this one-stop grant. Now, my question is, because this fix, right, it has to go to town meeting.
Yeah.
Right. So my presentation, what I would like to see, we put this on for town meeting. We see how the town feels about it. We let the Permanent Building Committee in January go, apply like crazy, because it's gonna be at least 6 or 8 months before anything happens.
Right.
I don't wanna lose, because if we don't look at it at this, now we're into next May.
Can we afford to wait till May?
Well, here's the point about that. I said this to somebody. Well, they said, well, it's not leaking yet. I said, okay. I remember when I was gonna repair my roof in one of my places in P-Town, and I had the roofer come over, and I said, hey, it's not leaking yet. It was 30 years. I said, but it's not leaking yet. He goes, Ellen, that's a good plan. Wait till it leaks before you fix the roof. So I'll never forget that. We're on the precipice. How the building is even, we're on the precipice. We need to put some money into this building. It's long overdue. And like I said, do we want to wait till the roof falls in?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
I would suggest that we should probably approach CPC.
Yep.
For some of the money, probably half, because this is one of those projects, unlike the signs we just heard. This is one of those projects where they don't want to fund it all typically. They would like a match, and I think that makes sense also.
I do too.
And then go to the Capital Planning Committee and ask them to put it on their prioritization list.
Okay.
And then if both of those, well, if the CPC agrees to fund half, we go to town meeting in November with, assuming, let's put aside the Capital Planning Committee is going to prioritize, let's say it comes back favorable and we agree with that rating and all the other things. And again, we can do our own rating. They make a recommendation, we make the choice. So let's say we decide. We've got half the money from free cash, half the money from the CPC.
Yep.
Then we could ask in November, are you saying the PBC that would then approach and start working on it by April, May? They'd know if they've got the grant from the Community One Stop?
Right.
Yes, they would work
And-
with myself
yeah.
and Mr. Weiss.
But then
on-
my
on the
next-
grant.
but then-
And then June or July, we start
We would-
fixing
yeah,
it.
we would
Yeah.
know by May.
Yeah.
We can certainly go out to bid in January, February.
Absolutely.
We just wouldn't start the work
Right.
until the May, June timeframe, and by then we would know if we had the
Right.
grant.
But-
And
but-
so just having an appropriation doesn't mean we're not
Right.
eligible for the grant.
And we've secured the funds in case the grant doesn't come through.
Right.
And we can decide whether it's a 50-50 split from CPC and the other, or
Whatever
whether,
it is.
however we decide to do it. Yeah,
Yes.
At that point. So I think that makes sense. I don't think it's something we can start this winter.
Nope.
I think it's something that we have to go through the process through, which is capital planning and CPC.
Yep.
But I would certainly do it now to try to get it planned with the knowledge that you're not going to start until June or July, so you're not
Yes.
then scrambling, trying to
It is
get quotes at the
difficult
last
to get
minute.
bidders if you have no appropriation.
Right.
So if you have an appropriation, we could go through the bidding process over the winter, schedule it
Yep.
for a June, July, August construction in that
Yes.
timeframe. And either way, we give the successful bidder the go-ahead at that time.
Yes.
And really, the funding will
yes.
depend on whether we get the grant or not as to where it comes from.
I just mostly, honestly, we've been talking about this for too long.
Yep.
We need to start it. It doesn't mean that that the work's gonna be done tomorrow. But if we don't start it now, we're now into the winter of '25,
Yeah.
and then you're into
And that's when
So-
it will start leaking at some point. Yeah.
Just so that I'm clear,
Yes.
are you we just opened the warrant.
Yes.
So timing-wise, are you saying that we go to the CPC meeting on the 26th with this? And then
we could reopen the warrant at any point if they'll have another meeting. Yeah,
Yeah, well, the warrant is open and it's closed, but it's basically closed to the general public. The select
We
board
can still
reopen
add,
it
yep.
Right up until the day you decide you want to post it.
Right.
You can
Right.
reopen it and then
Right.
add
So
or remove our.
I would say my scheduling would be first step, go to capital planning with a
Okay.
written proposal, there's a form, and then it goes through a rating process, and we take all the projects that come in and we evaluate them based on a needs assessment, and
Okay,
Mike can get you a copy of that, and then we evaluate it, and then we put it in a priority list, and then that priority list comes to us. And remember, last year, we deviated from their priority slightly.
I remember.
So, I mean, it is a recommendation. It's not the final say.
So we're gonna have to rely on these boards being willing to pull together meetings.
Well, the capital planning committee is meeting almost every Thursday up until town meeting.
Okay.
So
Alright, can you
that
get us-
won't be an issue.
So it'll be the CPC will be
The
the ones
CPC is
that
the
will
one
have
that's
to
the
pick.
tricky
All
one.
right,
Yeah.
can you get us on the next?
Capital planning committee is meeting a week from tonight.
Yeah.
So certainly, we could get on that agenda.
All right, get
for
on
a
that
week from
one,
tonight.
please.
And then the other CPC
Yeah.
is meeting, I believe,
The
the
26th.
Are they
Alright,
meeting
that's
any
okay.
time other than that? Oh, that's fine, yeah, the 26th, yeah, okay, yeah. And then it'll have been presented to the capital planning
Okay.
committee. You won't have an answer back from them
Now, there's a
But-
form you have to fill out for the CPC.
for each CPC.
We need to change one of the names of these boards.
The Community Preservation, right?
Do you know,
Commission.
do I fill out the form? Do you know? What is it?
I mean. I
Whoever's
could-
gonna
I could-
present it
I
should-
could fill it out, but I probably want to sit
All right.
down with you.
I'm gonna present it. I'm gonna try to
before.
get some materials.
Now, do we have to call a meeting because I'm the representative on there?
And we have to call a meeting for the other one because I'm the representative on there. So yes, we do.
Ooh, look at you two.
Yeah,
So we
and
have,
I get to report on it, not
so we
you.
have to post meetings for the
So we'll post
capital
for
planning.
next Thursday.
Yeah.
Now
And the
that one's a Zoom
26th.
meeting.
Yeah.
Capital planning committee is a Zoom.
The
meeting
CPC is in person.
In person, so. okay.
Let's change, and I'll move that we change the capital planning
my
committee
God.
name to something.
Something.
Capital Committee
How about
Plan,
just the-
hyphen planning?
How about just the
CCP?
capital, the capital?
CC, Capital Committee.
Okay.
We'll see if we can do something.
And what's the other one stand for?
Community Preservation
Commission?
Capital, Community
Community-
Preservation Committee, because there's a Community
I think we
Preservation
should call-
Act
I
that
think
is
we
the
should call that preservation. That's a terrible word.
No, because
All
they
right, we'll
do, they
figure
do
it out.
recreation and open
All right,
space
all
and
right, all right, all
and
right.
housing and,
All right, do we do anything else with this, Mike? No, right?
no, you get
Nothing
your
else that
applications
needs to be
done.
No?
Perfect.
We all
Um,
agreed, though, PBC can remain the Permanent Building Committee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
okay. All right.
that one's okay. It's the other
Okay.
two that are terrible.
And oftentimes, things go to both, so it makes it even more confusing.
I know. Okay. Oh, the next thing on, this is me also, purchasing town-owned property. So apparently, we have two, I talked about this a couple of years ago when I first got on the board. There are a lot of little pieces of property that the town owns that are left over for whatever reason. A lot of it's left over from subdivisions, some of them from takings because the people didn't pay their taxes. I'm talking small pieces of vacant land. I'm not talking about anything with anything built on it. Some of them, I believe, are bottle cap lots, which some older people will remember. When you got a Clico Club soda and you opened it, you got a piece of land.
50
Wow.
square feet of Millis or something.
Anyway, there's a huge park of it in Medway, and we have some here in Millis. I don't know anything more, we'll have to Google it. My point being, these pieces of land, you may abut your property. You may see that you live on whatever, and there's this vacant piece of land near you that you could add to your piece, and nobody maintains it, it's a field, there's people throws trash on it. We have a list of these town-owned pieces, I believe, on the website, Mike.
Yes.
We used to, if not, we'll add it back. Anybody that notices that they may indeed be living next to one of these little pieces should come down to town hall, meet with Karen or Mike, and talk about how to go about purchasing this piece. The town is not out to make a lot of money on these pieces, mostly just cover our costs of like recording fees and things like that. But there is a process, and I have 2 people right now that are interested in engaging in this process. We have 2 letters, right?
Yeah.
You got the other one?
Yep.
Yep. And I just want to discuss, I want Mike to discuss the process, and I don't know what, if we.
Where is
make-
it on the website?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm not
I'd
sure
have to
it's
go
still
back and
there.
check. It was, certainly was up there, but I can check. I know that we
Right.
had it up there for a number of reasons
Right.
earlier.
There's like
Um,
300 little
It's
pieces
probably
or
still up there,
something.
but it may be harder to find.
Right.
So we can try to make it more accessible
Right.
on the website. So just to follow up with that, briefly outline the general process for homeowners that, or property owners would like to maybe purchase a piece of property that's abutting their own. If it's town property, interested individuals should first contact the select board's office expressing their interest in a specific property. At that point, we would bring that interest to the select board, and they would determine whether or not they are interested in disposing of the property. If they are, then the board would have to take a vote to declare that property surplus. And then following that, the board would need to place an article on an annual town meeting warrant seeking approval of the town meeting to sell that property. That's usually done through a request for bids or an RFP. And anyone interested would submit a bid on the property. And then the select board would determine the successful bidder. And then, you know, the person would just need to, we'd have a closing, the person would pay the fee for the property, and the deed would be transferred.
Right.
And it would go back on the tax rolls.
So,
That's essentially, in a nutshell, the
yeah,
process.
it's good, that's a good process. So we do have 2 that we're going to put on for this fall. I guess my only question is, do you have a recollection of ever doing this? I mean, like, how much money,
It's not a lot. It depends on the parcel, but it's usually not a lot unless there's,
like
you know,
$1,000, $500?
Yeah, it's anywhere from, well, it's anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000, depending on the, you know, is the property a piece of wetland that's totally unbuildable?
Okay.
That they just want for some frontage? Is it an actual, would it allow them to build an extra building? You know, and certainly
Right.
with, you know, with some of the new zoning laws, and changes in the state zoning laws, this may create some additional interest for people with adjacent property next to
Okay.
their house.
Okay, very good. That's just informational, which is always good. Knowledge is king. Next item on the agenda, ratification of police union MOU.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So, the board has worked on this in executive session for some time. This is just a memorandum of agreement with the coalition of police having to do with, you know, swaps of tours of duty. There were some, you know, matters having to do with having new sergeants for the town and swapping between ranks, and that caused some issues, so we've worked with them to change the language to take care of that issue. So the language of the memorandum of agreement is in your packet, and I'm requesting that the board vote to ratify that MOA with the Massachusetts Coalition of Police, Local 171, which makes changes to Article 5 of the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay,
I move that the board vote to ratify a memorandum of agreement with the Massachusetts Coalition of Police, Local 171, for items related to Article 5 of the collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have liaison updates. Craig?
I attended the CPC meeting. Now, you guess which one? No, the Capital Planning Committee. And we had 2 critical issues. We voted to request Wayne be added, which he was, and we scheduled just about the rest of the Thursday nights between now and town meeting to evaluate items.
Okay.
There are a few items coming forward. There's not a ton of them yet in our hands, but we just added one tonight. So the idea is to come up with a recommended list to spend of free cash, and as those items trickle in, we'll prioritize, vote, evaluate, and there'll be a great report produced by John, and we'll get that report from them when we're done.
Okay, sounds good. Aaron?
Nothing.
Nothing, you know, not for nothing, but
Charles River
since,
Pollution Control.
since we changed up everything, I haven't been to one new meeting. I've only been to my existings. Does anybody know that I'm the guy? You know what I mean? I haven't, I
They
haven't,
should. I mean, I'm
Karen
on the
that, but they
CPC
should.
and the cemetery
They
now.
should, but I'll.
But-
I haven't been to
Karen.
any
Yeah.
except what I used to be on, which was Energy and Charles River. That's it. Anywho,
Yeah,
just wondering. I don't
I
even know
did
what
miss
I'm
the
on.
economic planning because I
Uh-oh.
had a conflict.
Did you?
Yes.
You forgot?
No, I had a conflict. I even texted, I will not be able to be there. I have a conflict.
And July and August do tend to be
I
the
know,
Yeah.
slowest months
I
for
know.
meetings.
I don't even know what I'm on, but as long as you do.
Well,
Well, Karen does.
Karen
All right,
does.
good.
I will-
So
we'll
I
get
did,
that confirmed.
I've been to 2 Charles Rivers since we met. Nothing earth-shattering. The only people that are connecting, honestly, is the very end of the Glen, which is almost 100%. So 2 Charles Rivers, and I went to an energy meeting, and they're looking over the responses to the RFP for that roadmap they're trying to put together for the state to get us to 0 emissions in 50 years or something, so it's good.
all right.
All right, that's it. Next,
Minutes.
I move
Approval
to
of-
approve the draft minutes from 8/12/24 Select Board meeting as written.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approval of water sewer commitment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet is the water and sewer commitment for the month of August. So I'm recommending the board vote to approve the water and sewer department commitment to the collector for August 2024 in the amount of $2,288.67.
I move we approve the water sewer department commitment to the collector for August 2024 in the amount of $2,288.67.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
And Madam Chair, I'm also requesting that the board vote to approve the water and sewer department commitment to the collector for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $997,205.59.
I move to approve the water sewer department commitment to the collector for the first quarter of fiscal year '25 in the amount of $997,205.59.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I move that the board enter into executive session for the following reason: to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's bargaining or litigating position, AFFF, litigation, and SEIU, and emerge into open session for the sole purpose of adjourning the meeting.
Okay, I'm going to poll the board. Craig?
Second.
Oh, second.
Oh, yes.
Yes for Craig. Erin?
Yes.
Yes. Ellen, yes?
Okay?
Okay, we're out.
All right.